We got the infamous SUGIRA here today. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm fine, thanks. Tom, yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Listen, I like the outfit. I don't think I could pull it off myself. I'll just stick with my purple t-shirts, but I like the attire.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And you're based in Sydney?
Yeah. I'm based in Sydney.
In the office today?
Yeah, I'm in the office. I'm obviously, it's the day to come in, you know, how it is now with, you know, people being able to work from home. I think, like I always like to say, we're living in the greatest era to be alive. So yeah, happy to be here, come in and talk with you.
So the greatest era to be alive, I'm going to hone in on that. You've said something there that I'm not going to let go of.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you say that? Is that because of the way that we can work?
Yeah, it's just like I like to say that the barriers are no longer here, right? Like all of us can own a media company. What are you doing right now? You have a podcast, you have a platform, you're bringing on business leaders, you're having conversations with other business professionals. No one can tell you where to go or you need to be on this platform. There's no gatekeepers. So that means you have access to the whole world at your feet, right? And so even what you're doing now is showing that this is the greatest era to be alive, where we have access to the marketplace. We own distribution. So like, there's no better time to be an entrepreneur right now. So it's just really, really exciting stuff. Like we all have the power in our hands right now, you know, and it's about people realizing that, you know, this is the time, the greatest time to be an entrepreneur. You know, you don't need to listen to the news. You don't need to watch the news. You are the news, what you're doing here. So we can all use that power to grow our business and to grow our mission and vision. So yeah, that's what I mean by that.
Okay, all right. So I wouldn't call myself a Sherlock Holmes in society, but something tells me that you're a bit of an entrepreneur yourself then.
Yeah.
Tell me, we want to hear.
Yeah, so I started off, I've been a footballer all my life. To tell you a little bit of a backstory. So I was born in Kenya, came to Australia when I was 3 years old. Dad's from Rwanda, mom's from Kenya. So we immigrated over to Australia and just started life, you know, as an immigrant family. You know, we had a good life back home in Kenya, but, you know, we wanted a fresh start, a new place, new opportunity. So we came to Australia. And so throughout my life, I've actually been a footballer all my life, playing football as an athlete. And then I got to a point where I started documenting my life. I started documenting my journey, just turning the camera on. And I did that through YouTube, just a content creator, like people like to say. So I was documenting my life through YouTube. And then shortly after, as I saw I was marketing without even me knowing I was marketing, right? I was getting videos that I was doing on YouTube and then saying, okay, how can I get more people to see these videos? So I was learning the art of capturing people's attention. So I was doing that. And then I started a podcast with my father. My father started learning and growing. And so he wanted a platform to be able to spread his message out to more people, his growth and mission in life. And so we did that, started the podcast and then started growing the podcast, kept capturing attention. And then I started to realize like, this is a media company. And then from there, like we saw, okay, other people need this as well. There's so many CEOs, there's so many business owners who don't have time to create the content. They don't have time to document it, but they need it. You don't have that much visibility. And the ones who learn how to use this is really powerful. So through that, we started to get clients, and now we've formed into a media company ourselves. And what we do is we help, you know, CEOs develop, build, and grow their podcasts. But we do that by building their personal brand, by giving them that online presence that when someone Googles who they are, there's a plethora of content for them to go watch. So yeah, I'm the CEO of ETS RUBASHA Media and founded it with my father. And so yeah, that's a little bit of a story in I don't know how long that was, a minute or so.
People try and get it in a nutshell, but I'm not too sure how big a nutshell is. I just had a meeting with someone which lasted an hour, and they used 40 minutes, and they said, "Well, that's me in a nutshell." I was like, "That's one big nutshell," you know. I need to recharge my laptop. But okay, so you're a footballer, okay? I'm assuming football. All right.
Yeah.
Who's your football team for starters? Who do you support? EPL.
Liverpool's always been my team. Liverpool's been my team since I was a kid. I've been obsessed with Liverpool. So yeah, Liverpool's been the team. And yeah, it's always stayed that way.
I think supporting Liverpool is a bit of an Australian staple. It's it's an auto response for most people in Australia. I'm West Ham, so that's why I've got no hair left. I'm long suffering. And you played? Did you play professional?
Yeah, so I played. I used to play. I played in the MLS with Portland Timbers. I was in the academy, then in the under-23 team. I played for Rwanda, my national team, and under-23 team as well. And so then through that, I was in the journeyman phase. Playing in like the semi-professional to professional level. In Malmo, places in Sweden, Denmark. So yeah, it was amazing to just do what I love and travel around the world, expressing, just being in that mode of, playing football. Yeah, doing what you love was powerful.
Love it. And I would imagine that you had the option of both Kenya and Rwanda to play for.
Yeah, correct. I was very close to going into camp for the Kenya national team. They had a camp and I was very, very close, but I didn't have the passport. So I had to go in, and then I didn't get the passport in time for the camp. So, yeah.
There we are. That's interesting. Well, I'll tell you a quick story for myself. I've been to Kenya. I did Kenya and Tanzania, or Tanzania, as the locals say it. And I did a load of charity, but I did the Kilimanjaro at the time. But it was in 2008, right at the beginning of 2008. And when we flew in, Kenya was in civil war. And it is a crazy space to be there. But being a Brit is quite interesting to see, because you had all the British influences, where it was a British colony, had the wimpy restaurants, which we don't even have in the UK anymore, and red phone boxes and post boxes and stuff,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you go back there much?
Yeah, every year.
Kenya specifically, or both?
More Kenya. Definitely more Kenya, but I also want to go to Rwanda more as well. But yeah, quite a lot in Kenya.
And have you done the mountain?
No, not yet.
There, well, give it time. It's I went up there with Rob Green, who was England's goalkeeper at the time.
Yeah, I know Rob Green. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's a nice little picture of me and him getting to the top of that. Is a nice thing. And how do you still feel? Do you feel more Kenyan, African, or do you feel more Australian now? How's that work for you? Because you left there quite young.
Yeah. That's a good question. I still have my roots, and I'm very much, Kenyan and Rwandese to the core. But yeah, I also feel quite Australian, having someone who's lived here my whole life. So yeah, it's kind of both. I embrace both sides. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I get to take both sides.
Okay. And when you were playing football as a kid, at what sort of age did you realise that you might be able to make a decent grade?
When I was maybe 11, 12, and started to see that I was really good, and just the passion. I'm always something, even now in business, just passionate about it. So ever since then, I guess that age that I really saw that I got quite potential to take it even further. That I always believe there's no limits to anything that I do. So yeah.
Okay. Well, my son is 10 years old. He's already a diehard West Ham fan, so he's inherited that. And he loves his football. He plays it at every given opportunity. If you could give him one bit of advice, almost like it's the advice you give to yourself back at that age, what would you say?
My advice to your son, on his football journey is be present, be in the moment. When you're out there, just be here and now. Enjoy it. Enjoy where you are. I guess when I look back at myself, I was more so living in the future. What if this happens? When you're younger, you're more in that present moment, just there. And when you focus on the present moment, it frees you up for more. And so I would just say, focus on the present and just work on your game. Go out there, get on the wall, kick that ball against the wall, right foot, left foot, kick it against the wall, get in that present moment. Do that every day. Then when you're out there on the field, when you're in training, when you're in matches, get back into that present moment and let you know, everything that you've been doing, all those moments in that present moment, trust yourself. Go out there, trust yourself, allow yourself to play and stay in that moment, and it will take you very far. And it goes for anything in life. You'll use that same thing in business, you know, that same way when you're kicking that ball against the wall, right foot, left foot, staying in that present moment. When you're out on the field, trusting your instincts, then when you go into business, you carry that same ethos and same work ethic and put it into your business. You know, because football it's a short career. So you want to be able to dominate on the field while you're there, but have that mindset to use these skills and use these talents to dominate life, right?
Okay, so I'll make sure Charlie gets to listen to this, and I'll say thank you on his behalf. Now, that's good advice, in my opinion, for him. Is it advice that you would give to your younger self to do things slightly differently? Is it like a lesson that you've learned?
Yeah, a lesson I learned. Like I did some of those things in terms of, you know, the work ethic and that, but that advice to stay present, I would give myself. Stay present. You know, again, like the mistakes I made, or not mistakes, the learning lessons, was I was always worrying about, oh, what about if I don't get the game time, or this happens, if I lose this contract, or this, what's going to happen here, right? Instead of being in the present moment. So going back to that advice.
Okay. And moving forwards a little bit, then you started to document your journey. Okay. On YouTube and your podcasts and what have you. How far into your career was it when you started to do that?
Yeah, so it was about, I remember I was in America and someone had told me, why don't you just start documenting your life? So I was about 24, 25. So it was a few years in, like later on in my football journey. But yeah, it was the greatest thing I ever did. I was playing for a team also in Atlanta. So I had started my YouTube journey before that. So yeah, probably about like 2, 3, 4 years ago, kind of later into my journey, that I started to document.
Okay. And the catalyst for you to do that was that someone suggested it, or was it you just did it and then fell in love with it straight away? Tell us about that sort of shift.
Yeah, so someone had planted the seed, but I had always thought about it. But my thinking was, oh, when I make it, when I sign that pro deal, when I'm there, then I can be able to go out and record everything and have, you know, that was my thinking. But then something clicked in me and said, you know what? No, do it now. I had a crappy iPhone. Camera was quite bad, and I still have that video up there till today. So it was just something that clicked into me, just said, do it now. What are you waiting for? And then once I did it, then yeah, I fell in love with it and haven't stopped since.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lesson there in itself, is to not put things off, because there's always, everything can be done manana. You know, it can be put off. There's always a reason not to do something, or there's a reason why something wasn't achieved. And if you go, I think that closely relates back to being present. If you're present, and you've got, you admit all the barriers and the excuses and the barriers to entry, and everything can be done straight away within reason. You know.
Hmm. Exactly.
Okay, all right. So let's fast forward now. Obviously, I think you've already picked up what I'm trying to get at here. Is throughout your journey, you've documented your journey. We're talking about your journey. Is the sort of milestones which have molded your career for the present day today. All right,
Mhm.
and the lessons have been learned. Okay. Given that you're a full media company now, what's your number one advice to everybody on that basis?
On what type, what
On the
advice?
media, on where you sit today. So you've had your journey, you've gone through, and you've learnt your lessons. You've got your lessons to your younger self and other kids. You got your lessons about being present and to take action. But now we've fast forward. We've applied all your lessons in life. Okay, you've got your major company. So to your potential customers, what's your big bit of advice for them?
My biggest advice is document your life. Going back to that, like right now, as we're talking here, I'm documenting this in the back. I have my camera recording me talking this, and then it's when you document your life, it's just so powerful. You're leaving a legacy for your grandchildren, your children's children, to be able to see, you know, what you did, how you grew up your journey, no matter where you are in your phase in your business, whether you're a Fortune 500 CEO or you're a startup founder. If you start documenting your life, it's powerful. And then you can use that documentation as representation of yourself in the marketplace. So people can connect with you. They can connect with your story, right? So I would go back to that. Just start documenting, document meetings, document what you're doing, document the process, show people what it's like to be you. And a lot of people think, oh, well, my industry is boring or my life's not. No, you're the gift. You're everything that you need, and people are going to tune into you. So that'd be a huge advice that I would give people. Like, I mean, let me ask you a question. How valuable would it be for you to watch content of your grandparents or your great grandparents? How valuable would that be for you?
Absolutely. I long stand by legacy. I do believe it's not just about a family lineage. It's about leaving the world a better place than we found it in. Okay. And there's lessons, there's mistakes, as you said, opportunities to learn as we go. And if we document it, it's there for everybody. And or maybe when I was younger, that same methodology was used when people say we should keep a diary. Yeah, and this is basically the same thing, but on steroids, you know. And you've got a personal brand. If my great grandkids can see this stuff and have these conversations and connect, it's magical, really. And by definition, you're working smarter, not harder as well, because obviously you've got a second camera on you, documenting yourself, being documented with me. And that's wonderful when there's so many lessons packed in there. So kudos to yourself. I do want to hold you accountable, though, on one thing. You said you kept your very first video on your not so great iPhone at the time. Okay. Would you, when we go public on this, would you be able to put that in the comments so anybody listening to this can watch that first one?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Definitely. That's a great idea. Thank you.
That's all right. No problem at all.
Yeah.
And okay. So you're based in Sydney now, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All
Where are
right.
you?
Sydney as well. Yeah, we're recruiting for our football team at the moment. we need someone half decent, but no Liverpool kits though.
I got you.
So what's the future hold for you? What's your plans? If you know the other nice thing about documenting things like this is you can look back and say, well, did I do this? Did I achieve that? What am I going to hold myself accountable for? What's the future hold?
Great question. I always say, and I tell our team, we're aiming to be the next billion-dollar company, billion-dollar company. And when I say $1 billion, the reason for that is because you make $1 billion by serving people.
Mhm.
By serving people. Wealth is created by serving people. So the goal is to serve as many people as we can, because what we see in the marketplace today is so many people to struggle to get out content. They're struggling to market themselves. Even marketing companies, I look at marketing companies, and for me, some of it's not even good enough. Like, you got to be able to get your content out there. I see so many people who have marketing companies, but they're barely posting content themselves. So I just say our mission, our vision is to serve as many people as possible. And in by doing that, become the next billion-dollar company, to serve that. And then I want to go in and we create Netflix shows. We have, just full on the media side of, allowing people to watch our content. And then we have the business side where we're getting that same thing done for them, where people don't have to worry about stressing about, having to have a podcast or run the podcast. No, they're just going to have content of themselves. They're going to have their legacies set out, right? All our clients, all the people that we serve, they're going to have their legacy set forth for the world to see and for their children to see. So if we can do that to thousands and millions of people across the world, we've been able to serve our purpose. And then we have the other side where we can now continue to inspire people and have our media platforms, our shows eventually go on and maybe take over the movie industry, take over Hollywood, yeah, that's what I see in the future.
I love it. Nice bullish statements there. And I'm not going to quiz you on your time frames. I'm just going to watch that space with interest. And I can turn around and say, in a few years' time, do you remember me? It's all made possible because you come on my podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I say it, speak it into existence. So, I mean, those are obviously 20, 30, 40, 50-year visions. But, that's where we're going. So, yeah, it's about where are we the next 2 years? Where are we the next 5 years? Where are we, kind of hitting those milestones? So definitely come back on this and see the checkpoints of where we are and where we're heading.
You did say something there which pricked my ears up as well. So I'm not too sure how familiar you are with different sales models, and as with anything, they evolve, they change over time, and they learn and what have you. And the most recent one was the challenger sales model. That's where things sort of stopped, but we've moved on from there. But no one really knows which sales model we're into next. But there's a few people that have called the next sales model to serve. Okay, that's where they think it is. I don't think it's necessarily a great name for a sales model, and whether it's the right one or not, maybe it's components of how that looks. But I think if we realize we're here to help people, and there's always people behind businesses, even conglomerates, there's people there. Okay, if we're there to help people achieve their goals and essentially to serve, then it figures that we also will have our own relative successes based on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Are you across the sales model yourself, or?
Yeah, but not that specifically. Like, obviously, that principle of serving, yes, I 100% agree. But yeah, that's why I'm always here to learn and grow.
Good. Maybe we'll catch up at some point, and I'll talk about that a bit more then. So, okay, all right. Anybody listening to this where your story resonates with them, or they'd like to get in contact with you to help you build their business, personal brand through your media business, what's the best way for them to make contact with you?
I would say right now, LinkedIn. Like, we connected off LinkedIn, so I would say right now, LinkedIn. Come and connect with me on LinkedIn. And I think that could be a very powerful platform for us to connect, and we can take it from there.
Fantastic. Oh, well, that wraps us up, my friend. It was a pleasure meeting you, pleasure talking with you. I took loads from it, so thanks for your time.
I really, really appreciate you, Tom. Thank you so much.
See ya.
Okay, see you later. Bye.
Thank you for watching this episode. I hope that you did enjoy it, had lots of takeaways from it. As before, please subscribe below so you can keep on top of any new releases we have. And also, if you would like to have your story told, just reach out with me and I'd love to give you that platform. My best email address is tom@purplepatchconsulting.com. Thank you.